Thanks, Tam. It's a lovely introduction. It's really nice. So yeah, hi guys. Now I can see you, Colleen, obviously, and I know there's a few more here as well. So it's completely up to you all whether you stay hidden or whether you come into the room and we can kind of do an interactive chat. That's completely your own choice. But I'm not very good at chat and video. So, but Tam, you can see if people put questions in chat, can't you? And you can prompt me maybe. So yeah, basically, so I'm Julie, and I've kind of come into connect with Frollo through my work with the Single Mums Business Network. But to go back and explain how I got to this point now is really important, and this is crucially why I'm doing this sort of talk and interactive session. I was a very, very normal career girl from age 15 to age 35, very normal. No childcare concerns, you know, it was easy, just a nice paycheck at the end of every month. I never had anybody looking into my personal bank accounts or questioning my, you know, whether I was trying to suddenly evade tax or be fraudulent or anything else. And it was really shocking then. So when I became a single mum at the same time as becoming a mum, age 35, everything happened at once. First of all, the employer, this was 9 years ago now, things are steadily getting better, but 9 years ago, the employer would not let me return from maternity to work flexibly. All I actually wanted was to leave half an hour earlier so that I could physically get back in time for when childcare closed. So it wasn't like I was after some great lifestyle change where I wanted to go and sip coffee with my mummy friends. You know, this is what people kind of think flexible working's about. All I wanted to do was continue working hard, continue to get my monthly paycheck, and just leave on time to pick my daughter up from childcare. But they wouldn't do it. Childcare wouldn't open later, and work wouldn't let me go earlier. So then you're in a situation where, okay, well, I'll have to find a part-time job. Now, those of you who are here are probably very familiar with this, because normally when you've got to the point of joining a webinar or something, you're already in a little bit of a rut with work. So I was trying to find part-time work, and then for the first time in my life as a 35-year-old woman, I realised that every primary carer out there, every mother, father who's a primary carer, was also trying to find this work in these condensed hours. So I was again at the beginning of my game and asking questions on social media, and the same three answers always came up: to go and be a TA, or to go and work as a cleaner, or to go and work as a lunch dinner cook or something. All of those are fine noble jobs, but I was at a point of my career where I was at least two salary scales above that, and I thought, well, I don't really want to reduce my income, my hourly income, or my salaried income. I just wanted to be able to do what I was qualified for, what I was skilled for, but in those reduced hours. So it was frustrating. So anyway, I did end up in one of these lower skilled, lower paid part-time roles, and consequently then my house was repossessed, and then I was in private rented and paying £200 per month more in private rent than I was in my mortgage. All of a sudden in a heap of debt, you know, credit cards to pay bills. It was insane, you know, insane. So just trying to work, part-time work, and of course then I needed benefits to top up my income as well. So there's no textbook out there when you become a parent, or when you become a single parent. Nobody gives you a little handy leaflet saying, welcome to single parenting, this is what you do now. You know, and it's a big bugbear of mine, and this is kind of what I'm trying to create, and also promoting others like Frollo, who are also doing really great work to help. So, you know, there is no leaflet that says this is what you do. So I went through the same painful journey of, okay, how do I get, what's tax credits, what's housing benefit, what's council tax discount, different phone calls for each element of it, and then immediately, you know, you're spoken to as though you're a piece of, you know, dirt, and that you're a scrounger, and that this is a lifestyle choice, and that you're work shy, and all of these horrible things that you go through at the same time as being financially stressed, emotionally stressed, probably feeling a bit fat and having a baby. You know, so it was hell. And so I ended up in this situation, and I just basically kicked and screamed to get out of it. So I embarked on a law degree. So that's one thing that you can do. It's an option. It gives you something to do as a primary carer, either during school or childcare hours, or when your child sleeps, or at night in bed. It's an option. So I did a law degree with the Open University, there are upsides to being a single parent, is there are certain bits of help out there that I couldn't get when I was married. So the fact that I complain about all this help, I'm also very grateful that it's there, because I couldn't get that when I was married and I wanted to upskill. So I did the law degree, but even then going from the law degree into legal practice course and into qualifying employment, there was still the same issues with flexible working, and they wouldn't actually let me through the door if I couldn't do that full day, that the childcare didn't match. So at the same time as doing a law degree, I designed this pregnancy cushion called a key bed. It was accidental. I designed it purely for my own use, and so that I could lay on my belly when I was heavily pregnant and go and get a massage. It was because of then the reactions from the massage therapist and the midwife and everybody else, that I thought, okay, I've actually got a product here that the market could use. There's a gap in the market, so how can I take that to market? Bearing in mind, I was going through house repossession, eating beans on toast, you know, absolutely classic. So it was just an absolutely mammoth journey to make that happen. Trying to cut a very long story short, I did make it happen. And over the last 6, 7, 8, 9 years, you know, I've won a number of awards. My key beds all over the UK, Germany, Spain, Australia, America. You know, I just managed to battle through that. Obviously, I've got the part-time work is got steadily better and better. I think once I completed the law degree, my confidence improved greatly, because I hadn't graduated before I left school when I was 15 without any qualifications, and went abroad. So that's when I had to start swallowing my own pride. I thought, I can't keep accepting this adversity. So I ran a Facebook campaign, and I only spent £5 on it. And on that campaign, I said, look, I've got this is my experience, this is my qualification, I'm looking for work in school hours, can somebody please help me? And I targeted solicitors within 1 hour of where I lived, where I could commute to. That paid off. I had a response, just one response, about 400 views, but I had one response that said, yes, Julie. So that was it then. My life kind of changed overnight. I started to earn the proper money. And then I was able to spend more money on business marketing, and then I was able to come off benefits, and all of these different things started to happen. But I thought, well, there was a moment before that, because your salary goes up and down and your benefits go up and down. My council tax was recalculated 2 years retrospectively. I'd always been honest and declared everything, but it was just too complex for them to keep on top of. So with the 2-year calculation, there was a debt that I could not pay in their maximum timescale of 26 weeks. So they then sold that debt to a debt collector, who allowed me to pay in 52 weeks. It was a bailiff. I missed one payment, so the bailiff was on my door, and I had my daughter in my arms. And at that point, I think she was about 4. At that point, I thought, right, I just can't take anymore. I tried so hard, and it was through no dishonesty or fault. When the bailiff was there trying to take anything I did have in front of my child, I thought, this isn't the life that I want for us. And I was very, 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 very close to just giving up and ending the whole thing. Fortunately, that didn't happen. By literally quite a miracle, actually. Something happened that enabled me to pay that. But because I got that low, and because I had such a difficult journey over so many years, as soon as I got to a point where I thought, right, I figured out all the marketing and business and study and, you know, all these different benefit dramas and housing dramas and all of these things, I thought, right, I set up a Single Mums Business Network, because I knew I wouldn't be the only one. You know, I know there's 3 odd million single mums, of 10% of single parents are single dads, but the majority of us are still single mums, and we're generally the ones who get most flack, and we get the blame when we're a single parent as a lifestyle choice, whereas men generally get more sympathy. Sorry if that offends any guys watching, but that's public perception for you, and public stigma and stereotyping. So I thought, when I set up this support network, to try and just share everything I know about starting in business, PR, helping other single mums in business with PR. Not only single mums, dads can join as friends too, because I don't want to exclude anybody who needs affordable exposure. So anybody can join as a friend. because one of my biggest bugbears when I was trying to fight out of this trap was not being able to afford to advertise. You know, the slightest advert in a magazine was like £60, tiny ad in a local mag for, you know, £2,000 for an ad in a glossy mag that was relevant to my audience. So it was so difficult. So for the last couple of years, I've been creating this kind of advertising and going to exhibitions or paying for bigger adverts in larger magazines and signposting them to my members to help them gain exposure to their business. At the same time, I've been lobbying Parliament and government to say, look, there are lots of issues here that just simply shouldn't exist. The main one being the work and the childcare being out of sync, because we should be able to just continue working and continue getting a salary without suddenly needing to claim benefits, and people delving into our personal finances and accusing us of being just the assumption that you're going to try and cheat or take money that isn't yours, or, you know, things like this. And it's making peace with that as well, the humiliation and the stigma, and really making peace with the fact that you've paid taxes, you know, from the day you was born, apparently to help you in your hour of need. So there's so many aspects to being a single mum in business and work, and the flexible working, and how to sort of just really swallow your own pride and maybe do a Facebook campaign, whatever you're good at. And it's really knowing what you're good at as well and what your strengths are, and not being defeated and being shoved into something that doesn't suit you. It's fighting for what you know you can do, and fighting for what, you know, you just got to really, really put yourself out there. At the same time, and I'll take a breath in a minute, Tam, because I do go on one. At the same time, you've got to be very, very wary, because the minute you're in a situation where you're desperate for work, you will be preyed upon by sharks who will basically have you working for them for free for 50 hours a week on the promise that you'll earn a healthy income from home. And I've been watching this for years and years, and I've been networking for years and years, and I've seen people suffer in and out of it for years and years. Some of them spending money, some of them just doing it. If you work that hard for somebody else's business where they're going to earn a lot more money up the food chain, you might as well do that for your own business, for your own skill set, you know, and earn the money, do the work for your benefit, not for other people's benefit. So you get peanuts at the bottom of the food chain, you know. So you've got to be very, very careful. Everybody will offer you an amazing opportunity to work for free. So you've got to be careful of that. So I'm going to take a breather. There's a lot of stuff I've just got. So Tam, between you all, if there's any questions or anything particularly you want me to talk about, then just, I'm going to mute for a minute, okay?
No, thank you so much. I think it's so nice to hear, like I said, hear your story, because you're talking from your own experiences and what you've been through and what you've done. So it's not like you're trying to talk about something that you've actually not done, you've just read about or heard about, which makes a huge difference. So I don't know if anyone on the call has got any questions they'd like to ask or anything they'd like to kind of add at this point. Please feel free. Yeah, Colleen, over to you.
Can I ask a question? Is that okay? I've written down questions, but obviously I'll ask one question and then offer the mic up to somebody else. So one of them, you mentioned about doing your law degree and that there was certain help available to you that wasn't available to you when you were married. What were you referring to? Because I've just started my master's in psychology of mental health and wellbeing, and I wasn't aware that there was any help financially available for me. You're on mute still. Oh, yeah.
Okay, thanks. So the law degree was my first degree. I don't know if it makes a difference if you've already graduated post-education, but because it was my first degree, that was funded. When I tried to do a degree when I was married, that wasn't funded. It was because our joint income was more than I think the threshold of 28,000 or something. I might be wrong on the threshold. You'll need to check the up-to-date figures, etc. But there is a threshold. So you are at a disadvantage when you're married, but you're also at an advantage because obviously they're considering the fact that you could create that disposable income if you really tried hard enough to pay for it yourself. And I think it is designed there to just give people opportunities who are really on the floor and really can't afford to do it. So you need to have sort of, it depends that you haven't got too much money in savings and you haven't got too much income. And if you're really struggling and you're really in adversity, then there are opportunities for that to be funded for you. And then the masters, then when you get to the masters, you can, If it's full-time study, you can get a student loan, I think, to help with your living expenses. However, if you do that and you want any other benefits, I think it affects your benefits. Part-time, I don't think you can get a student loan to help with your living costs. I think that's just full-time study. But obviously, full-time study when you've got dependents is a win-win, because you're looking at long-term. And this is long-term. This isn't a way to cheat. This is a way to make sure that in 5 years you are not in a situation where you need any support. So it's really, you know, reassuring yourself, and sadly having this sort of information to tell other people who just think you're taking, to say, no, this is a long-term plan. If I don't do this, in 7 years' time, I will be working, you know, on £9.80 an hour in school hours, 25 hours a week, and I'm guaranteed to need housing benefits to top up my income, you know. So it's about putting yourself in a situation where in 5 years' time, you don't need any help with your income, and you can be completely self-sufficient, and you don't have to have anybody asking you, you know, what you're doing to find work this week, that kind of thing, when you're trying so hard.
Yeah, I mean,
I've gone off on a tangent again. No, carry on, because we can do a couple of questions.
This is a long-term thing, because after I've done that degree, I'd need to do my doctorate, and then I'll be a clinical or counselling psychologist. So it's a long route, but I work for myself already, so I'm technically self-sufficient already, but this is still career development stuff. But because it's my second degree, I don't think I get any help financially. So I was just interested what route you took.
Yeah, it was my first degree through the Open University, so I think that did make a difference.
Okay. I suppose I could talk to student support and just see if there is anything, like any scholarships or anything like that.
100% worth checking. 100, because they do different things at different times as well. I know that when they were trying to encourage people to go into the teaching profession, they would offer a bursary to give people the incentive to take that route, and it was a one-off payment, quite a big bursary. Even I was tempted at that point to go into teaching, but I thought, no, I'd be a rubbish teacher, so I really can't do that. That would be unethical, just to get the big chunk of bursary. But you know, it's ever changing, and it's worth speaking to your local college or your local university and checking what it is they really want people to go into at the moment. And there's probably incentives to do that. If you're through self-employment, you may be self-sufficient and you don't need any support, which is great, or you may be at a stage where you need support. Again, it's making peace with all of that and just really focusing, and they can see that you're doing everything you can to get to a stage for you and everybody else, that they can see that you're doing everything you can to get to a stage where that's short-term, not long-term. The pain short-term, there's other things. The short-term pain is dealing with any financial stresses and strains, and not letting that basically.
Yeah, it's my son's 10, so I've been doing this a wee while, but I do get working tax credits, but I don't get anything else. I'm still on the old system. They haven't moved me over, but because of COVID and because I've recently had very major surgery and been very poorly in hospital, I haven't been able to work for a long time, and I'm a little bit worried at the moment that the tax credits are going to say you haven't been working, you owe us money, or actually when I can feasibly get back to work and how that affects things. That was my other question, but very happy to pass it over because there's lots of things in the chat, so I don't want to be capitalising time.
We've got time. We can hopefully go over everything with everyone, and we'll go into the chats in a second. The tax credits are much better than universal credit. Now, I'm very fortunate in the situation I am now, where I'm obviously my members, we're confidants as well, so I'm privy to information of a lot of people's private information. I can hand on heart say that universal credit is a much more difficult journey in terms of being constantly questioned, your money being changed, the threat of sanctions, all of that stuff. The universal credit system is very distressing, and I think it actually does result in people being more suicidal than tax credits. Tax credits is a much more friendly system because they give you some autonomy and they trust you to tell them when your income changes. They will keep doing that, but what they will do, they're human as well. They will, as long as you say to them, look, this is a situation, obviously these are the barriers I faced, physical, as well as, you know, health, well-being, but they pay attention to what you're doing, as in your journey out of that. So as long as your journey out of that is you're making progress, then and they know you're not taking the mick and it's not some sort of lifestyle scam, then I would like to think it's hard to say, because the sad thing is the benefit system, both tax credits and universal credit, they are both a nightmare. And it is very, very scary. You're permanently scared because you don't know if they're going to pull the support. You don't know if I'm connected with a solicitor who specialises in benefit fraud, not because people are benefit fraudsters, but because people just, it's this petrifying scenario where, I mean, 8 years ago, I was pulled in sanctions for borrowing £20 off my mum and not declaring it. And I had no idea I had to, and there are people who get, done for having a partner stay over 2 nights a week, which is considered sort of living partner, and their income should be supplementing your income. There's so many traps that you can accidentally fall into. So it's scary. It's very, very, very scary. And I think it's the most traumatic stage in a parent's life, where you have to be both taking care of a child on your own and then having somebody who can pull the rug financially from under your feet when you're trying so hard to be ethical and honest. So it is horrible. Just keep talking to them, just keep being honest with them, and know that then if things get scary, there's people like me and organisations that can just really help you to just not fall to pieces. That sounds a bit dull. I don't mean it sounds a bit dull. I'm sure everything will go swimmingly well and but it's equally important for anybody who suddenly finds himself in dire straits to know that they don't have to deal with that on their own. Some of my members last year, I was emailing their landlords, I was emailing their local council tax departments, just so they weren't fighting alone, just to give them that moral support. And it, because when you're in the heart of fight or flight, you can literally panic and you can't even think straight or communicate straight. So sometimes you just need somebody there who's been through it, who is calm, to email them and say, what is the problem? What do you need from this person? What's wrong? So let's go on to chat, but we can come back and talk some more. Tam, did you want to prompt something there in chat, or?
Yeah, so there's a comment in here, like kind of what I was talking to you really briefly about before, Jules, kind of around confidence. So someone has dropped a message in just saying, I'm a 45-year-old mum with many academic qualifications but zero work experience and no confidence. I don't know how to get into a professional career. I've never owned my own business. I've always worked in unskilled jobs, but I'd really like to have a successful career or business in the future. And I think what I was saying to you before, that's come up quite a lot on the Frollo feed, is around confidence, because I think, the last 18 months especially have kind of knocked a lot of people and put a lot of maybe plans and ideas on hold. So maybe if you've got any kind of tips and advice just around kind of boosting a bit of confidence, and I guess like the self-belief piece that comes along with it as well. Yeah,
there is a lot of that. I would like to know what the academic qualifications are in. So if you get a minute to type that in, because sometimes you just need a bit of help signposting as well. I met a girl at a careers fair 2 years ago, just before COVID. She was at the careers fair. You had your stereotypical stands there who are desperate to employ people, and the reason they're desperate to employ people is because they don't pay enough money and the hours are rubbish, So this girl, I was talking to her, and she was, I say girl, like young mum, she was a qualified carpenter, but without the confidence to set up her own business in carpentry. So she was looking at working as a home support worker, which again, I respect anybody who does that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but when you've got qualifications and you can earn twice that amount, the carpenters that I work with, one of my freelance things I do is in construction. The carpenters can earn 150, 170 pounds a day easily. So why would you not go and work for 750 pounds a week just because you're lacking the confidence, and you let somebody shove you into a corner where you're lucky to get 150 pounds a week? So you've got to work on your confidence, and this is where it's really important to train your own brain. You need to be surrounded by people who build you with confidence as well, because we have pack mentality. Now this might come across as having assumptions, and I don't mean it to, but when you're around your usual family and friends, you always feel the same as you've always felt. And it may be that you feel like a child, or you feel like all of those kind of issues that have carried through your whole life, you know, will be there playing on you. Getting out networking is absolutely crucial for building your confidence. When I first started networking, somebody said to me, come to a business networking meeting. And I was like, well, there's no way I'm going to do that. I'm not a businesswoman. I thought I'd be laughed out of the room by all these blokes in ties. And but I went along, and actually what you realise is you're surrounded by people who have got the right mindset to encourage you on that path. And they've got relevant experience and relevant kind of contacts. And it's true what they say, it's not always what you know, it's also who you know. You need to talk to people, you need to network, you need to let people know where you want to go. So you don't have to already be established in business to do that, but you go along to a business networking meeting, you say, these are my qualifications, I want to start working in this field, possibly on a self-employed basis, but I'm not sure where to start. So I'm starting to come along to these meetings to broaden my horizons and see if I would fit into kind of a business environment, if I feel comfortable. And it makes you feel nice. You put a bit of makeup on, you know, you get your nice clothes on. It's almost like a social lunch, because another thing as a single parent is you often locked up at night and you can't go to anything in the evening. You know, so you really need to try and fit this in school hours. So find your lunch. There's a lot out there now, a lot more out there now. Loads of networks, some that you can go to with your children if you've got younger children, and some if your children in school, you can go along in lunchtime. The chambers run lunchtime meetings. You've got loads of different mums sort of networking meetings that do that, or you've got things like this on Zoom where you just turn your camera on, show your face, build your confidence. You know, you don't hide, and you don't. When I set up Key Products 9 years ago, I asked my sister to be the face of the business, because I thought the minute I put myself out there, people are going to think, oh no, that's just Julie who went to 7-hour school, you know, she's an imposter. And you really do feel like that in the beginning, but you need to neuro-linguistic programming, hypnotherapy, EFT, whatever methods you use, there are ways to train your brain. And the only thing you really need to train your brain is, see the sign behind me, only the weak give up. That's a bit harsh. I got myself that after a few years. But initially, the best signs to have on your wall is only you can stop you. Hello, darling. There's a gorgeous little one on the screen. Hiya. Only you can stop you. Read it for breakfast, read it for lunch, read it for tea, and read it before bed, because you literally do train your brain. You know, it's what you feed your brain. As you believe, if you get up in the morning, you think, I'm fat and I'm ugly, and you look in the mirror and you say, I'm fat and I'm ugly, and you go to bed at night and you think, I'm fat and I'm ugly, you're going to believe that you're fat and you're ugly. But if you go and look in the mirror in the morning and say, only you can stop you, only you can stop you, you're just going to train your brain, and you're going to make it happen. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to plonk the right job in front of you. Nobody's going to pick you up and put you in a meeting with the right people and say, right, here's your self-employed, here's your website, here's your literature. Yeah, and NLP is brilliant. I mean, you know, it's one of the methods. Neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro is your brain. It's linguistic programming. You're telling your brain. You can go to a hypnotherapy session. Alan Carr's Easy Way to Quit Smoking. That was my first introduction to hypnotherapy 10 years ago. I read the book, I quit, job done. It's just getting that message into your deeper brain. Okay, you can control this. You can control your outcome. And then, of course, the power of time is absolutely incredible. If you're 45, then you can spend, if you think of a 3-year plan, so don't think, right, I need to do all this, I need to do it in the next 3 months or 6 months. You think 3 years, think, right, in the next 12 months, I'm going to build a lovely website. 12 months after that, you're going to say, this is my website. What was the qualifications for the 45-year-old lady with no confidence? Did we say? Sorry, Tam, put you on the spot there.
No, you're fine. Yeah, she's got a message with, I don't know what all of these letters stand for, but she's put LLB, BLMA in HRM, Prince 2 in project management, but she doesn't do well in interviews and can never explain why the lack of relevant work experience.
So project management, you're highly intelligent because you've got those letters after your name, so obviously you can put pen to paper. Project management, you can organize things, and you probably like organizing things. So, you know, if you don't do well in interviews, then don't go to interviews, don't work for anyone, do it yourself. I'm doing awards in September, in October. You know, there's so many people out there in our businesses who want somebody to manage their projects for them. You know, and it's just figuring out what you need to wear. It's getting your website together. I can manage your projects for you from start to finish. You know, whether it's organizing literature or organizing business cards or organizing, if you can, whatever you know you can do, think, right, this is what I'm going to tell people I can do, and then be confident enough to charge for your time, even if you only want £10 an hour, even if you only want to earn, like, say you want to say £20 an hour, 5 hours a day, £500 a week, £2,000 a month. That should, in most of the UK, that should be able to cover your rent and bills and have a bit left of disposable income. So you market yourself at £100 a day, and you know, if you get, or £20 an hour, and then don't try and do it in a hurry. If you haven't done it yet, you're surviving on what you've survived on so far. So get your message clear. Your website, there are free websites you can use if you can't afford a WordPress website yet. WordPress is much better because of the SEO and the blogging, and it can reach a wider audience. But otherwise, you can use one of the cheaper websites that will just at least let you have a landing page. Get on LinkedIn, fake it till you make it. In terms of confidence, going back in the beginning, I felt rough. So I had one corporate photo shoot, which was basically me looking as best as I could possibly look. And that picture was always out there, and it didn't matter if I'd been sobbing all day, and if my hair was greasy, or if I was slobbing. My corporate photo shoot was what went to every blog I put out, and it was like, this is me, this is what I do, this is me, this is what I do, this is me, this is what I do. And you've got to be committed to spending 12 months if you need to, every day from 9:30 till 2:30, like 5 hours a day. This is me, this is what I do, this is me, this is what I do, this is me, this is what I do. And suddenly you'll start to get clients. And if not, by the end of that process, you might just have enough confidence to walk into an interview and say, do you know what? I'm amazing. Look at all this stuff I've done. But tell yourself enough what you're good at. I bet you're really good at so much stuff. I bet you're really good at it. I bet there's people out there just begging to have you on their team right now, you know. So it's, I don't know. Again, it's if you're not getting interviews, get on this meeting, turn your camera on, say to us, it's a safe environment, it's a safe space. Maybe not now because it's being recorded and your confidence isn't there yet, but come to one of my intro meetings, or go to a Frollo community meeting or something, and just turn your camera on and say, just practice being, just practice hearing yourself speak, and practice that confidence building, and allowing yourself to be seen and allowing yourself to be heard without thinking, oh my God, you know, I must sound stupid and people must be laughing at me and judging me, and all of that crap that goes to our minds when our confidence is lacking. You can beat it, you can overcome that, and then you can come across and genuinely feel very confident in what you're saying and the message that you're conveying. I can see some more numbers popping in chat, so I'm just going to button it again a minute and see if there's anything.
No, Colleen's just shared some of her kind of advice and experiences, which is lovely. Talking around kind of NLP. If you Google NLP on confidence, you'll find some free great support to start your journey. And MailerLite is a free platform which will give you email marketing as well as a free landing page and other things at no cost. So yeah, just kind of sharing some advice and some support. But that's the thing, it's joining communities like this, like the Single Mums Business Network, and where you get so much value from sharing your own experiences and then things you've used and things that have really helped you. So there's also on the Frollo app, there's kind of in the group chats, you can join business groups in there and kind of self-employment groups. And then kind of that's a really good place as well for advice and support. Because, you know, we all just got to help each other. None of us know what we're doing until we do it. And it's only when you've done it and you've experienced it, you then know what you're talking about. So we're all here to support and help each other, which I think is the really lovely thing about this community, about Single Mums Business Network. Yeah, and that's a really important thing, I think.
It's very relevant you say that, actually, because it's true. It can be quite alien to have a supportive community around you. What I said earlier about the people we surround ourselves with, the family with the best will in the world, sometimes they will almost deter you from taking this path, and they will say, oh, just go and get a job in your local shop, you know, you'll be all right, you can get. They don't mean to dismiss your ambition or your. Sometimes you need to see you as you know, they as more than what perhaps they see you, and they know it's going to be a difficult journey, and they know you're going to need to go through an epic journey, but it's so worth it. You know, and they were with the best when they were say, oh, just don't bother with all that, just go and get a job in the shop, it will be enough money to this. But you know that's probably going to, you'll end up soul destroyed. And what Tam just said about supporting each other, it's genuine. It is 100% genuine. The thing is when you get to a point where you've been through that journey, me knowing what I feel like now as a woman compared to what I felt like 10 years ago as a woman, I was miserable, and I was you know, I was just soul destroyed. There was no confidence. I didn't feel like I had a place on the earth. I didn't feel like I had a purpose. I didn't feel like I just wasn't happy, and I wasn't fulfilled in any way. And life was just bland. And so this journey, however difficult it's been, I genuinely want every single mum, every single dad too, every person, genuinely want them to fight through it and then really feel amazing about what they've achieved, you know, the barriers they've climbed. Okay, yeah, thanks, Colleen. You know, I really want people to feel this way, and that's it. And when you go to networking business meetings as well, we come through the UK way, the British lifestyle, it can be quite hostile. Education can also be quite hostile, and you actually get used to people stabbing you in the back sometimes, or putting you down, or talking about you behind your back, and you think, we get this kind of negative perception of women and girlfriends and all the rest of it. We think that they're not there to support us, they're there to put us down, and so we come through that journey. And then also in the workplace, because the workplace is a different environment, it's a competitive environment, there's only one person going to get promoted, it's dog eat dog. So or there's going to be, you know, there's aggro with the way things are done, and you kind of take an eye on each other, or someone's leaving earlier, so everybody's having a good bitch about that. You come through all of those things in school and workplace, so it's understandable that you get to this point and you think, these women don't really want to support me. But actually, when you come out of those environments and you're then in a business environment where you're not a threat to anyone, you know, we're all there to, we know that when we all feel happy, the world's going to be a better place. We know that everybody's going to be kinder to each other. We know that the economy is going to thrive when everybody's doing well financially. You know, we know that we're not going to be tailgated if the person behind us isn't massively stressed out about getting to work on time or getting back. All of these things have a knock-on effect. It's a ripple effect in the ocean that impacts all of us and the people we love. So when you get to a point where you really understand all that, all you want to do is support other people. So get yourself in the right environment, get yourself with the right people around you that want to lift you up, that want to see you do well, that want to see you earn good money, that want to see you, you know, just thrive as a person and feel confident and feel good, and or just feel like you're making a difference. You know, you don't ever have to feel good, but you need to feel at peace in your own heart, like you're doing what you're good at, like you're doing what you could be doing. I've just seen that pop up about franchise businesses. I've seen a couple of really, really bad things with franchise businesses. I've also seen a couple of good things about franchise businesses. The thing with franchise businesses is banks are more likely to lend, because a franchise business done properly is normally set up as a franchise because it's already established. So normally the franchisee will have already tested the market with that product, and they will give you the full support then with setting up that business in your own area. They can be extremely expensive, but again, the bank normally lends because it's a proven business model, because the person who started that business can show how they built that business, can show what the market is, can show what the turnover is, can show what the profit is, and they can genuinely sell you a franchise and say, this is what it's going to cost you, but this is what you should earn back in the first year if you take the same steps that I took. It's very traceable. It's very traceable in terms of if you put the right effort in of what you can earn back. But franchise models, in my experience, are also very tight. And if you're not 100% committed to putting that effort in and growing that business to a model and you want to get out, I have personally, which is quite high, I think, seen 3 people where the franchisees have then gone on to threaten them severely, despite their adversity, because they wanted to pull out the franchise and haven't let them. So if you go into franchise, see if there's a sort of some sort of break clause at some point, or make sure you read the small print, because there can be absolute sharks if you pull out the franchise. But it's much better to go into a franchise, I think, than something that's not a proven business model. So when someone says to you, I do this, you can do it too, make sure you see their figures and how it works. You know, because otherwise they could pull you into something. They just want to take money off you, because actually some not necessarily franchises, but some business models, their business model is to take money off of you. That is their business model, and they're not actually selling you anything viable. You know, so it's like, so you got to watch that carefully. Just be very, very careful when you're buying a franchise. Be very, very careful. It can be brilliant. Like, you've got cleaning franchises, they're already established, they've got the website, they've got the marketing, they've got the client base, they can signpost to you. Some of them can be great. Really do your homework on it, and terms and conditions and the break clauses and and everything else, and make sure that you've got the proper support there. I've seen some people really hurt by it, but I've seen lots of people do really well on it too. Oh my god, there's some more in chat. Sorry, carry on. What questions have we got? Shall I have a look, or are you on top of it, Tam?
No, that's fine. So you've just answered the franchise one. Another one, again, so really lovely. So like Colleen was just saying, like really happy to help, have a chat after this. Someone else just said, really grateful for all of these suggestions. We'll definitely check out what you said. So some really lovely feedback. I don't know if anyone else has got any more questions that they want to pop in, either unmute and ask or pop them in the chats. Absolutely fine. We've still got another kind of like 10 minutes left, so really fine to answer anything.
Yeah, when you say better off going it alone, see that normally the strength of the franchise is the business support and the existing website and the existing literature. Some of them will send you like 10,000 brochures to post in your local area, as an example. If you can do that on your own, you know, normally what you'd spend, I'd probably upset some franchise owners here, but normally, if you're not infringing on their copyright or their trademark or anything else, like normally, if it is something you can do on your own with your own cash input, you're not accountable to somebody, because it doesn't matter which way you do it, you've still got to put the same effort into making that business work. You've still got to be the one, you're still the sales force. So you still need to go out there and drive it. They're certainly not going to do it for you, although they might give you the literature. But then for what you spend £10,000 franchise, you can probably spend £10,000 on 10,000 brochures and pay Royal Mail to post them for you. So there are lots and lots of ways to do it, and that's why things like it's so important to get detailed advice, like what your budget is, what you can afford to spend with that budget. Yeah, free platforms, NLP. Isolated life. You don't know anyone. I'm going back to the Flay. I don't know if that's your name, Flay, but that's what's on your profile, so I'm going to say Flay. You've got to get out there and build your confidence up. You're so skilled and qualified, but letting people pay you pennies, you've got to change that. The thing is, at 45 now, even if it's a 5-year journey for you, even if you get onto this proper path by the time you're 50, between 50 and 70, because we've got no chance of retiring before we're 70 at our age, you've got 20 years then. You've got to think long term. You're either going to spend the next 25 years doing what you're doing now and not enjoying it, unskilled job, low paid job, or you're going to spend the next 5 years going on every confidence building course there is, and then for the next 20 years, from age 50 to 70, you're going to thrive, you're going to walk tour, you're going to have a circle of friends. When I say friends, it's okay to have acquaintances too. What's important is that you're around people who make you feel happy and alive and good. And you can start small. Whatever it is you like doing now, start small. Get out and socialise with somebody, somewhere, somehow, whether it's knitting, whether it's squash, whether it's country walks. The good thing now is there is a group out there for absolutely everything, and it's easy to find. You've got meetups, again, you've got Follow, you've got any Facebook groups. If you literally search whatever it is you like doing, it could be fine arts, it could be hugging trees, it could be, you know, it doesn't matter what it is, there is a group of people out there who like doing what you do. You know, it could be Shakespearean plays or you know, ancient stabbing, fencing. It doesn't matter what it is, something that makes your boat flow. What am I trying to say? Something that floats your boat? Yeah, something that floats your boat. Crocheting. Doesn't matter what it is, go and find a group of half a dozen people who like doing the same thing. Once a week, go, have conversations. You've got to get yourself out of the life you're in right now, and you've got to put yourself on a different path. But that's not advice, that's an instruction. And I'm going to get your email and check up on you and make sure you're doing it. I'm not allowed to have your email, you're safe, but
no, I love that. I love it. You're so like, I don't know, like, yeah, like motivational and like empowering when you talk, Jules. It's great, and it definitely makes me feel like, yes, I can do this. Like I can go and figure this out. Like, it's great. So no, I think it's really good. So and I'll pop all of Jules' details in the meetup on the app, so you can go and find her everywhere. If you've got any more questions or you want to get in touch, anything like that. But yeah, I think the advice and kind of the things you've given have been absolutely brilliant, Jules. Thank you so much.
Thanks. I don't know if there's anything I've missed. Confidence, furlough, stop working, yeah, there's loads. Even Centre of Excellence do little courses for like £25 or something. There's loads of ways. Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. So yeah, connect with me. I'm happy. I do one-to-ones. I'm not trying to do one-to-ones, to be honest. I'm really busy. I'm not particularly plugging that, but you know, but at the same time, I don't want anybody to be out there struggling on their own. So if you want to connect. And then Colleen, have you got, obviously you work now, I don't know how you promote your business, but look into the Single Mums Business Network as well.
Sorry, what was your question? I was sort of half listening and half reading the chat. What was your question?
It's fine. You know, it is worth everybody knowing that it's there to help you promote the business and get your name out there as well. If you're on the NLP path as well, there's lots of people who need you and need your services. I mean, there are so many people who haven't got the confidence and need the help. And that's the thing, is I don't try and absorb everyone, because there's no way I can help everyone. To be honest, I'm maxed out with what I've got. So I really love promoting people who help people. Because
yeah, I stopped work when I had my surgery in May, and then I was in hospital a month. So I'm only just at the point where I'm starting to think about getting back to it. But I want to be really, really careful who I work with, because, you know, I'm still recovering and I'm still healing. So yeah, maybe I need to check out the network, because it will be with people that are like me, and, you know, maybe have their own businesses, other mums who understand, you know, what it's like when you've got multiple things going on. So that's a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of unique. It's kind of special. Oh, thanks, Tam. That's great. So any more questions? We have got 5 more minutes, and I like literally pick my brains on anything. It's absolutely fine. I don't know if there's anything we haven't covered.
I think that might be everything then for tonight. If anyone after the call wants, you know, forgets the name of anything or forgets where to find Jules, anything, just pop me a message on Frollo and I can send links your way. It's not a problem at all. So yeah, it's been really lovely to meet all of you, and thank you so much for spending the time this evening. It's been really nice as well that it's been such an interactive session, and there's been lots of questions and lots of chat. Like, that's so nice, because then it means that you guys are getting a lot out of the session as well, and are asking the questions that are relevant to you. So yeah, thank you so much.
No, it's lovely. It's lovely to have. I mean, like I said, it's a ripple effect. It affects all of us. You know, life's too short. Don't let it pass you by. life's too short. Do what you're good at and make money from what you're good at doing, because that is what nature intended. So please don't hide in a room and let life pass you by. Just find a way and make it happen. Make life beautiful and comfortable.